Hey, girl. Hey. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all can hear me, right? I'm out loud, am I?
you sound perfect.
Hello, everybody. It's the beat for me. I totally love our intro. It's just hype music, right, Tawanta?
It is. I'll be bouncing right there.
Every time I see you, I'm like, we should have like some type of recording here on the backstage to watch us really like get pumped up for you guys because we get pumped up for you guys every time we show up. I know Tawanta's excited to be here. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of the Sister to Sister Connection Talk Show. I am Letitia Campbell. I am the behind the scenes marketer, behind the scenes producer of the show, and Tawanta is the content curator of the show. She's the lovely lady that comes up with all the awesome topics that we talk about every single week that y'all just go crazy over. Okay. As you guys are rolling on in, please make sure that you click, tag, and share. And also let us know in the comments where are you tuning in from. We love
Oh,
to know where
yeah.
you guys are tuning in from. So, we're in the second quarter. We've been riding through all these conversations every week. We just launched season 3 of the show, and we
hmm
have a really, really great topic coming up for each and every one of you this Saturday. So, how this works is we do broadcast this show every Wednesday and every Saturday. Right? I'm sorry, I'm hearing myself twice. Every Wednesday and every Saturday, we broadcast this show live, right?
Right.
And then Wednesday nights we do our on a panel discussion where we talk about what we're going to be discussing as a topic on. See my that's why my nephew is listening to us on his tablet.
Oh, hey. That's so sweet.
I'm like, where is it? I know I got everything. I've got all the tabs open. My cell phone is low. He's so sweet. Thank you, Melvin. Make a comment,
Oh,
baby. Make a comment.
that is so
You never know.
sweet.
The children are watching, baby. The children, but you don't want. You might not be on. This is a little adult show. One of
Yes,
the shows.
yeah, I know it's wrong. Yeah, I know. Thank you for the support, boo.
Thank you, baby, for the viewership.
Yes, yes.
Yes, he said he watching us on YouTube. I love him. I love him to death. Yes. So without further ado, I'm gonna have the legendary, the supple. Okay. To
Girl.
want to let all of you guys know what our topic is going to be about for this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday our topic is going to be I'm not a fool. I'm a trailblazer.
Trailblazer,
Oh, I'm
baby.
sorry, a fireblazer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking trail in my brain, but
Same thing.
fireblazer. Yes. Let me explain what that actually means, my darlings. Of course, we have been talking about since the beginning of this month about, being played a fool in our lives. And a lot of us have really, grew up and we really just started to really stand out and not be played the fool no more.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we're just continuing on with that because we really, really, really want our sisters to know just how strong and powerful,
Right.
you really, really are. And even though you've been played a fool once and twice and all those things, girl, don't let that continue to contaminate your mindset or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. No, you are not a fool. You are a
Mm-hmm.
fire blazer. So let me
Mm-hmm.
explain real quick what that means as far as the word blaze. It stands for bright, strong, flame, intense. My favorite word right there, intense. So the greater the blaze, the harder the fire is to put out. So,
Amen.
ladies, you got to know you are a powerful woman. And
Mm-hmm.
you got some people who are trying to diffuse your fire. Baby, they
Mm.
can't do it. No matter how much they try to throw water at you, no matter how much they try to smother you, with their
Mm-hmm.
with lies and trickery and all that stuff. That's not going to work because
Nope.
you are so intense. They can't even stand next to you
Nope.
because even if they try, they're going to burn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're going to burn with your truth. They're going to burn with your success. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to burn with the power that is just coming out of you from the
Right.
inside
Right.
out, baby. So yes, please take that into heart. That yeah, I'm not a fool. I am a fire blazer, baby.
That's right.
Come on
And
with it. Come on
when
with it.
Tawanta first told me about this topic, I felt a chill coming up my spine because I really, really like this. I'm really big
Yeah.
on the fact that you are who you hang around. You are who you attract, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, I'm
Hmm.
really getting to a point in my life where I'm working aggressively hard. And I've mentioned this practically every week on the show, working aggressively hard to create a positive mindset, a positive space. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really quick to tell people if they're doing an event or something, or doing something where it's a collective of people, whether it be virtual or in person. I will say, listen, if this person's here or that person's here, Letitia's
Hmm.
not there. Because I would
Right.
gather my things and go. But because it's very important that, you know, I create this positive and uplifting
Sure.
and inviting space in my mind, physically and mentally, is so important, because we are
Hmm.
all fire blazers, but the people
Hmm.
around us
Hmm.
can bring down our fire, can bring down our
Hmm.
passion. And I was
Hmm.
talking to my sister about this the other day, you know, her stepping out of a relationship, and me telling her that, you know, obviously nobody's higher in a position than another person, but if
Hmm.
you're around an individuals who are not go-getters, who are not action takers, who are not trying to get more out of life and just get to that next level despite where the world is going, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Then that
Hmm.
is contagious. It's going to rub off on you. You know,
Right.
so you can't be in a room of people who are non-action takers and stragglers and lazy and all those things, and expect that you're not going to pick up those habits, or you're not going to pick up those routines that they're doing, because you
Right.
are. You're more
Right.
likely to wean towards what their habits are versus what you're going to be continuing to do, because you're going to end up making excuses why you should not be a fire blazer, or why you should not do the things that you want to do, right, Tawanta?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's so important to really, again, every day is a new day, and every
Right.
day comes with different challenges. And you're going to
Mm-hmm.
come across some people that, like Letitia said, that's going to try to diffuse your flame,
Right.
that's going to make you feel lesser than a person, of a woman, or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
and because and especially those who have known you, they've been with you through all of the
Through
junk
thick
that
and
you
thin.
experienced, right? And they know your weaknesses. They know how
Mm-hmm.
to trigger you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They know how to
Yeah.
get to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you already had a what's the word? You've been revived, honey.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. You became, like your word that you always say, to resilient. Now you became
Yes.
resilient, which I feel that that's what 2020 has taught all of us. It's taught us all to just be survivors. You know, either you're going to be the
Yeah.
victim or feeling like you're always going to
Right.
be on watch, or you're going to stand firm and say, I'm going to survive every single situation because
Yeah.
I'm happy that I'm alive. But there's a lot of people that are still stuck on,
Hmm.
you know, pain, suffering, all those things, even though those things are still happening every day and we're aware of those things. But I can't stay in conversations where people are always talking about doom and gloom. You
Hmm.
know, you just can't,
Hmm.
you know, and it goes to test into what you were saying. Your word is resilient. You know, you've been talking about
Absolutely.
being resilient for years, right?
Oh yeah, I have been talking about that because I had to, realize myself that I was resilient.
Mm-hmm.
God put that in my spirit some years ago, and I
Right,
had to
right.
define that. I had to like, well, what does that mean? Then I realized what it was. I'm like, wow, I'm actually living that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really living that life, that word. So, it has stuck with me ever since. And so it is a powerful word because it
Mm-hmm.
really showcased my life.
Right, right.
And for a lot of
100%.
you out there, you are also resilient
Mm-hmm.
because you have come across a lot of traumatic, events in your life. And look where
Mm-hmm.
you are now. So that
Mm-hmm.
makes you a fire blazer. That makes
Yeah.
you a person that, people just, they can't stand that brightness of you
They can't, and
because
some people can't take it. And you
yeah,
know what?
they
That's
can't take the
okay.
heat. They
Yeah, they
can't take
can't
the
take
heat.
it. They're not ready to take it. They're not ready to absorb it. They're not ready to take responsibility for their,
Right.
or ownership for their lives. And that's honestly, in a weird way, that's okay for them. But you got to continue to say, I'm a fire blazer. I'm going to keep pushing forward. Now, and I know you're going to agree with me with this, Tawanta, when
Hmm.
it's like we're saying that you absolutely are a fire blazer, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be days and moments that you're not going to feel like a fool. You're not going to feel overwhelmed. You will feel those things, but it's about
Yeah.
blazing through it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I am so tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Mhm.
have a mother of
Mhm.
5 kids. Tawanta has 2 daughters. Like, we work from home. Like, we've been doing this for a long time. And there are days where we feel like saying, okay, then we just take a nap, or let's just skip, or let's just,
Girl.
go on pause. But really, we gotta say, let's
Yes.
just blaze through this conversation. Let's just blaze through this movement, because there's people out there, ladies, those of y'all who are watching, that needs to hear it, but they need to hear it directly from you. That's the
Absolutely.
differentiation. Yes, there'll probably be a lot of women out there. I'm just talking to those of you who are building a business that maybe have similar business to yours, but you're the one that's going to get them to that transformation that they need. You got to
Mhm.
blaze through
Mhm.
whatever's what, accept how you feel. Like,
Right.
that's one thing I want people to stop saying, especially to me. Oh, girl, just get over it. Oh, just no, no, no. I'm not going to get over it. That's not.
Mhm.
I want to be aware of people. I want to be always consciously aware of people in my space, and knowing that if I don't mess with somebody or communicate with somebody, I don't communicate with somebody. And there's a total reason why. And I'm going to still blaze through my whole entire life, everything I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I'm going to accept how I feel, but still blaze through the
Yeah.
situation, right? So I
Mhm.
became very hard at being, as an entrepreneur, guys, we are so vulnerable. We are. We're open, because when you don't have that 9 to 5 world where you're like, well, you're not living that life anymore, or you're trying to step out of it. You don't have
Right.
that nest egg. You don't have that, plan B, or that safety net. It's like you're open. You're opening yourself up to the world, to be criticized, to be judged, to be misunderstood, and also to be taken advantage of. So you have to grow and build that tough skin, which is sometimes is hard. And there's days
Mhm.
where I'd be like, dang, I really don't feel like being a fire blazer today. I want to go in the corner and cry. But then I have to say, you know what? Let me be aware that this individual, these individuals, right?
Mhm.
And Darlene, she's on here. She knows what I'm talking about. If they're creating that negative space, or that negative, if creating that negative environment mentally or physically for me, that I'm going to remove them. I'm not playing around in this season.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not playing. I
Mhm.
will block, I will package you up, and I will send you away. Okay?
Mhm.
Because I'm not
Mhm.
doing that.
Mhm. Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, I know for you to, Tawanta, you have done that, with this whole resilient movement that you're creating throughout many, many years, even since I've known you, right?
Yeah, ever since, yeah, since we known each other, I have been continue to burn through, all of the challenges that I endured.
Mm,
And sometimes when we get so overwhelmed, we feel like we just can't make it, or we
yeah.
just can't move another step forward. But,
Mm,
God's strength and his grace, we definitely are moving, because
mm,
he's holding us and he's moving us ahead, even when we just not don't have that desire or that push
exactly.
anymore.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're married, we have kids, and well, my daughters are a little older now. They're not like babies anymore, but it's still a challenge,
Right.
because, my oldest daughter, she's 19 and she's in college, she's working
Mm,
full time, all those great things. But yet she still needs me every now and then,
that's right.
as far as, for the emotional part of that. And that could be draining, and not in a
Mm,
bad way, but, she's
mm,
going through some stuff too, and she
yeah.
needs
Yeah.
her mom to help her through that. And then I have a
Yeah.
16-year-old that's a minor and needs me all the way, from
Mm-hmm.
emotional to physical, all of
Mm-hmm.
that, and then have to
Different
deal with.
personalities.
Yes, girl, dealing with the temperaments, dealing with the
Yes.
attitudes, and and sometimes you just have to like take a break and just want to like,
Yeah.
and then
To have that peace of mind.
right. And then, of
Yeah.
course, if you have a goal, you have some things to do. You have what you got going on, which is
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. And then I have my podcast, and I have other things going on.
Yeah.
I have my group page going on, and it
Yeah.
requires me to be attentive and try my best to be consistent as
Right. Right.
possible.
Right.
Because
Right.
like you said, there are people who
Mm-hmm.
are in need of hearing what God
What
put
you
in your
have to
heart to
say.
say.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I feel like the very first thing, I mean, we're going to go over a lot of tips this Saturday, guys, so make sure you're tuning into Saturday's show. I believe the first step to, as like a pre-work that you guys can do before Saturday when it comes to being that fire blazer is you got to remove the people, or the conversations in your life that
Yeah.
are bringing down your fire, bringing down you. I mean, this world is such a toxic world, and I'm just going to be honest. there's people out there, millions of people who are okay with being toxic, and that's how they operate. That's the spirit they operate in. Whether they even talking about God, even those who talk about God, sometimes we get fooled. We may be following some people and they talking about God and being a Christian, all these different things, and they could be the most toxic. Some of them could be the most toxic people. They like, wait a minute, girl, you're too much, and I need to
Mhm.
like,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I had start to see why people have ended up in certain situations in life because of their toxicity and because of them pointing the finger and playing the blame game. It's your fault and it's this and
Right,
that.
right,
It's like,
right.
girl, I'm so, I was built to be a survivor. Yes, there's moments in my
Mhm.
life, and Tawanta, firsthand, where
Mhm.
I was literally felt like I was under a truck, you know what I mean, and down at my
Mhm.
lowest. And I had to survive it and pivot from that because that's
Mhm.
for me. It's just in my DNA. I don't know how to be anything else. But also with my, empath spirit, it's like I do take on the energy of the room, which is why I'm so guarded. In this season, I have to cut the wrong people off. I just have to. Can't be
Mhm.
no explanation. Can't be no, third, fourth, five, six, seven, eight chances. Because if you want to be a fire blazer, honey, you got to be
Mhm.
that 24/7, even when there's days you don't feel like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's say hello
Yeah.
to our guests, guys. Let's say hello to you guys. We wasn't ignoring y'all. We wanted to get this out because we're going to jump into this conversation more in depth on Saturday. But I want to give a huge shout out to Therese. Thank you, love, for tuning in. Yes, Darlene. Darlene said, to preserve us, we have to separate from negativity, right? So
Right.
true. We do
That is
have to
so true.
separate from negativity, I always keep
Mhm.
referencing my sister and certain people in my lives, because there's so much that has been happening just recently with them. And my sister just got a relationship, and she was saying how
Mhm.
the person was saying he never thinks about the future. I'm like, who doesn't think about the future? Who doesn't think like who doesn't sit down sometimes and think about where they're going to be 5, 10, 20 years from now? Like,
Mhm.
that's kind of scary to me.
Mhm.
That really, really is, right?
Mhm.
Energy
Mhm.
matters. Yes, it does. Energy does matter. It does
Absolutely.
matter. Jill said, congratulations to those sisters that have procured the comeback shield of resilience. We have been through some things. That's right. We was just talking about yesterday, Tawanta, about
Mhm.
everything that's gone on just recently, with the George Floyd
Yeah.
case. And
Yeah.
honestly, I woke up this morning in a weird way. I really had a sense of peace because I've seen the preparations that were happening before the verdict came out, and
Mhm.
people were ready to
Mhm.
battle out here, honey. They were ready to
Girl, yes.
act whatever how they was going to act.
Yeah, girl, they was gonna
Okay.
show themselves. Okay.
Yeah, so it was so interesting. I was inside this. It's a store called Hicks out here in, which I don't like that name, Hicks, like Hick. You're a
Mhm.
Hick.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hicks is like a gardening store, and my mom texted me. It's like, yeah, this guilty verdict, and I was sitting down and I just raised my hands in the air like praise God,
Mhm.
because.
Mhm. Ooh,
How about
girl.
you? Where were you when you heard the news?
Actually, I think I was here. And
Okay.
I found out through my phone here because I get
Mm-hmm.
a lot of notifications like CNN, that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
So that's why I found out about it. And I was like, okay, good to know. Good to
Good to
know.
know. That's
But
it. Let's
you
go
know,
on with our
but I
day.
also realized too that even though they found him guilty, but
Mm-hmm.
you never know how that judge is going to really
Exactly.
seal
I
the
was
deal.
hearing that this morning. And
You
guys, those of
know.
y'all who are watching, we're interested to know, like, where were you yesterday when you found out about the verdict and what ran through your head? Like, I know that's not our conversation about tonight, but
Mhm.
it has a lot to do with that.
Just curious.
Just
Just curious.
curious to know. We like to ask the community what it's all about and everything. But I'm
Mhm.
really, like I said, and I know I shared this with Tawanda. I really like this particular topic. We want to bring as many people on panel as possible. And we want
Right.
you guys to come on and share with us, when was there some times in your life, whether it be life or in business, that you felt like a fool, but you fired through that and you are a survivor of something. We would love to hear your story. We would love for y'all to come on panel and share it with the audience because your story can in fact be crazy impactful. We know Jules gonna be there, honey. The legendary Jules. She always graces us with her presence, and she's gonna share her insight as well. But we want you ladies also to come on. LaShawn, I want to see you there. You know,
Yes.
someone had to push me out. into the world. You know, my mom did it first, and then I had to come along and be around amazing, powerful women in my life that said, you know what, I see something in you. It's time for you to come out, even though you're not ready. You feel you're not ready because we're all ready, or you feel like you don't have enough. You know, I want to push you out, and that's what I want to do. Tawanta and I want to do for you guys. So
Right.
LaShawn said that she was at home. Yes. How did you feel about it, LaShawn? How did you feel about in that moment? I know we all felt great and amazing, but like you mentioned too, Tawanta, we're all
Hmm.
sitting and just observing now because 8 weeks is going to
Yeah.
be is that second phase. You know.
Right. And
Mm,
I mean, because we are excited about that, but
mm-hmm.
again, 8 weeks from now, we
Yeah.
don't know who the judge is yet, of
Mm-hmm.
course. And probably
Mm-hmm.
won't find out until maybe that day of or the week of. I don't know
Yeah.
how they work it, but
Mm-hmm.
by the time they do find out, then we gotta sit and wait to wonder if he's gonna be there for the rest of his life. Is he gonna
Mm-hmm.
be there for 10 years or
Mm-hmm.
8 years?
They said he can get up to 40 years,
It can get up to 40.
but
See, I didn't
on
even know, but
on
I
the
just
inch,
assumed.
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead. I just
On
assumed.
the inch flip side of it, they say he can get up to 40 years, but since he has not had any priors, it could possibly go down to 12 or less. That's what the news station said this morning.
Again, people are still outside waiting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People are outside waiting. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Gonna say on that one. Because if you
Yes,
go ahead and let that man be in jail for less than a decade,
it's gonna be problems.
yeah, it's
And we're
gonna be
not
a big issue.
speculating anything. We just know how these things go. We've been around. We lived long enough to see in what happens. But
Right.
I'm happy that his family got justice and his children, and
Yeah.
what have you. I'm really happy that at least this decision that was made in the favor of the family. So, and I saw
Hmm.
the reactions that they were recording themselves when the verdict came in. I was crying. I was like, "Oh my God," because that could have been my husband, that could have been my brother, that could have been my
Yeah.
dad. That's
Absolutely.
that's the position I've taken.
Hmm.
It is like, just
Hmm.
imagine the trauma that the whole family is going to have for the rest of their life. So they should get some type of, in my opinion, they should get some type of compensation for that.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
Hmm.
I know that
Absolutely.
doesn't bring anybody back. I get that part, but
Hmm.
it is what it is. So we have some good conversations going on in the chat here. Jules said, I was making my way back home quickly, concerned about the verdict and sentence is not over yet. No, ma'am,
Right.
it's
It's
not
not.
over
It's
yet.
not.
Yeah, she said she was happy. She screamed. That's LaShawn said that. Tanya said, why you get 30? Yes, for drug charge. Yes, yes. Why you get 30 years for drug charges and less than 10 for murder? That, yeah, I totally agree with. There's some people still in jail right now for even having a pack of,
Mhm.
marijuana on them or something.
Okay.
But listen, I
And they
like
serving a lifetime sentence.
exactly. So I believe this is true when someone said there's a different justice system for us. I do
Mhm.
believe that. I
Mhm.
absolutely do.
Mhm.
Yes, it's a sister to sister connection show, but we do love to discuss with you guys matters that goes on with,
Yeah.
people of color like ourselves. So since
Yeah.
this
Because it
is
affects
current
all
news,
of us. It really, really
absolutely.
does. Mhm.
Absolutely, it does. I mean, have you spoken to your daughters about it? Because your daughters are a lot older than my kids. I mean, my
Mhm.
son, I know he's 14, so I know I need to sit down and have a conversation with him. But
Mhm.
how does your daughters feel about all this?
Well, I haven't really talked to him about it, per se. I did mention it to my oldest daughter, so she was
Mm-hmm.
aware of it. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember when at the time when they had the protests going on and everything, she
Mm-hmm.
participated in the protest here
Mm-hmm.
locally with her friends
Yeah, I
and
remember you
everything.
mentioned that.
Yeah, and so I was proud of her, and my youngest daughter participated in
Mm-hmm.
as well. So I could tell that they were very, very compassionate about
Mm-hmm.
about the whole situation. So I know
Right.
my oldest daughter, she's like, okay, yeah, okay, I see it, but still at the end of the day, we need to see just how they're going to really support, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, how the justice system going to help really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't talked to my youngest daughter about it yet because again, she was out of town and everything.
Yeah.
But she did bring it to my attention, of
Yeah.
course, about the whole sentences and sentencing, and she was happy with it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much all that
Yeah.
went down with that conversation.
Yeah, yeah. So we ask you guys all to just stay prayed up,
Yeah,
educate your children as much as you can,
so important.
because that is very much so important. Yes, we want to educate them on our history, but also educate them of their rights at the same time,
Yeah,
what your rights are, and the fact that, you want to make sure that they are aware of that, especially our children as they get older and they're going out and about day to day. Therese said, at home feeling okay until the news of the cop shooting a teenager girl about 20 minutes later in Ohio. Absolutely. There was actually a shooting like in one of the supermarkets here in my area that happened that day. And it was
mm,
kind of like, one person died, two people are injured. It's
mm,
just so much going on. Another
so much
Ohio young
going
woman
on.
killed this afternoon. Yes, yes. It's whew, so much,
And you
that's the
would think with this pandemic going on that it pretty much would have just really slowed this whole foolishness down, but apparently
mhm.
not.
Mhm.
Of course, when we were in the peak of the pandemic, we didn't had any crimes, if you remember.
No, very very little.
Very, very little, but it
Mhm.
really to none. Nothing
Yeah.
to the point like something like this. But
Mhm.
as soon as, people starts to get back into their normalcy, then
Mhm.
they start to go ahead and cut the food, doing no crazy stuff, even through the midst of this pandemic going on and whatnot. So we still got to stay covered up, prayed up, all that good stuff,
Mhm.
or what have you. And, and continue to pray for those families that have lost their loved ones through this
That's
senseless
right.
violence and all those things, especially with the cop that killed that young man in the car. If you remember that young man, he was 20 years old, handsome young man. He was a dad as well, and all those things. And it's just, and then of course the cop eventually got, she's in jail or whatever. I don't know if she
Mhm.
post bail or anything like that, but
Mhm.
and then to hear,
Oh, this is
that
the
they,
one that said about her taser. She thought it was her
yeah,
taser,
yeah,
and
yeah, yes, yes, yes. And and since now that they have found, the man guilty over George Floyd's situation, I was like wondering, it's like I wonder if this is like a wake up call for those police officers now to realize now that, they're not playing anymore. They're really taking this thing serious, and this
right.
young life is at risk right now more than
That's
ever.
right. You
But we
know
don't really know until 8 weeks from now. Then we could
exactly.
probably say something for real. So let's pray
Yes.
that, he'll get
The full extent,
the
because
full extent. Yeah.
it needs to come into full circle. Going back to the young lady with that whole I thought it was a taser, not my
Yeah.
gun situation. Like I was telling my husband, like, the difference. Which it's a totally different weight. It's a totally different feel. Like if you've been trained to know. You've been trained to know when
Yeah,
to
man.
pull
You've
one
been there
weapon
for a long
out
time.
over the other. So I really call BS to that,
Mhm.
big time. And,
Oh, sure.
you know, it's just, that's just BS. I'm gonna be honest. Like I tell my husband all the time, like when you get pulled over, just be nice, don't talk back. And I'm not just trying to say that to make him feel inadequate, but I don't want a
Mhm.
situation where, something happens and he doesn't come home. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what I do. You don't know what will happen when you snap, or what
Yeah.
type of person that you will become. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that's something that you should never expect. And I do know that a lot of them do overstep their boundaries and overstep their power, because I've seen it firsthand
Hmm.
living in New York and all
Hmm.
that stuff. But it is what it is. And even stepping into the verdict, you mentioned it very well,
Hmm.
Tawanta,
Hmm.
that we're just going to see what happens, what is going to transpire with this. But on the outside of it, looking at all these Karens and Kevins and all that stuff, I'd be like, I wish a Karen and Kevin would. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this foolishness I see on Instagram is crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Jules said take talk with your kids about these scenarios, and often. Absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, Jewel. My mom was talking to my oldest son about not this situation, but there was a situation that happened last year. And at first I was like, "Oh my God, I don't want her, Mom, I don't want you talking about it to the kids and stuff." But then after a while, I was like, I was okay with it, because you got to make your kids aware of what's going on in the world, because they're starting to talk about these things in their schools.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think, as a parent, we have to have a little bit of control, because over the conversation, because we don't know how the schools are really delivering information to them,
Yeah.
even if they do look like us. So we have to really take part and say, you know what, let me sort of have some monitorization over what's already been spoken about in their school environment amongst their friends, right?
Right. And
Hmm.
speaking of school, this is totally a little different than what we've
Yeah,
been
go ahead.
talking about. But my youngest daughter had mentioned to me that at her high school
Hmm.
that they had someone called in talking about that they had a gun, and that they were shot or something like that, and that they had put in the school's name, the high school name, and everything, and that the person was like an administrator or something like that. So of
Mm.
course, immediately the police came. So it was like
Hmm.
5, 6, patrol cars coming at the school,
Wow.
and come to find out it was just falsified information.
Mm.
And so, you know, I know I got a call that same day, and
Right.
it was from the bus transportation saying that, the school bus has been delayed, but don't worry, your kids will get home. And I was
Home,
like, what
yeah.
does that mean? And then eventually my daughter had, told me what was going on. And I was like, you mean to tell me somebody wasted their time, want to play some stupid game like that, and putting people's lives, at risk over I'm like, what is going on? I mean,
And
it's just crazy what
it
people are
is
doing,
crazy, and it's like
you know?
almost the cry wolf type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
if there is, God forbid, a situation that it is, real life and it's something that really happened, the kids are probably not going to be taking it serious. They may consider it as a prank,
Mm,
as in this particular case. So that's something that's not cool at all.
it's
It's
not.
not
It's
cool
not.
at all.
Not.
um it's just not. I hope they find the child, or I'm figuring this has to be a kid that did this or something.
I'm
I
pretty sure it is. Naya was saying, she said, I'm pretty sure it was a kid that said
Mhm.
that, or pretended to be an adult or whatever, and they're really good at finding these kids out. I mean, I
Yeah.
have to give, the school district really credit, because when it comes to stuff like this, they don't waste no time
They
with
don't
that.
waste no
They
time.
take that thing so
They
seriously.
have to. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
have, because
have
in case
to.
something does happen, they don't want to be sued or be held liable, or things
Right.
like that. So that is very much so important. We all
Hmm.
have to just cover our children and just pray over them, and just making sure when
Hmm.
they are going out there in the world and they're out and about. And it's not like it was back in the day. My parents used to let us go here, there, everywhere. Well, not really as much as my brother. My brother got away with a lot of stuff because he was a boy. But we have more freedom to do things. And now,
Right. Right.
yes, this may be like not such a good thing at me being a mom, and being so protective, especially over my oldest son, because I don't want him to be like just hanging out and wandering the streets and stuff, even if he is with his friends, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know.
Exactly.
you know
Exactly.
these people in with badges can now try to take out whatever aggression that's been screwed up because of this case
Hmm.
on one of our
Hmm.
kids. I mean, I just always think of that in that scenario. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. And we have to also, protect ourselves too,
Mhm.
moms, ladies. We have to protect our mental state,
Right.
definitely protect our hearts,
Mhm.
and because there's a lot going on, and there's a lot, and we wear multiple hats.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We really, really do. And sometimes we just put a hat on top of another hat, like we
Over
just
and over again.
multitask, yeah,
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah.
again, and it can become overwhelming.
It
Like there's
can.
some couple of times I just sometimes want to sit and I just want to lay it all out, and then when I lay it all out, I'm like, okay, Lord, strengthen me, help
Strengthen
me.
me.
I just need peace right now. I
That's
don't
right.
want to
Our
do
jobs are
nothing
not
else.
easy. Like, I don't know if
It
y'all
is
watch
not.
90 Day Fiance. But
It's
I
not.
don't really watch every episode. I normally just catch the clips on YouTube. But it was the one where the Hawaiian looking guy was on there,
Hmm.
and his mom was asking him for $1,000 or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw, but anyway,
I
he
haven't
was
seen it. I haven't seen
okay. Well, anyway, I gotta see your clip. But anyway, he was telling his wife that her job is so easy.
it.
Women's job is so easy. It's so simple. You just wash clothes, clean up, change diapers, and that's it. And I just felt like coming through the screen at this.
Just want to
Obviously,
smack them.
little boy, basically. And I'm like, you have no freaking idea.
No, no, no. They don't have no
You
idea.
have no idea. And you know what's so sad part of it is
Mhm.
that because I've been put in that situation before, is that they're never going to get it. But we as women, us being fire blazers, we got to stand firm and say, listen,
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered tonight, or I don't want to be bothered right now. I
Mhm.
need my me time. I need my alone time,
Yeah.
and things like that because you just need it for your
Yeah.
mental health. You
Yeah.
definitely do need it, and it's okay to demand that.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
And when
okay.
you see, like, and think about ladies, if you've ever been to a camp before,
Mhm.
or if you have like what do you call those things, like the little fire pit.
Mhm.
And
Oh, I like
you
those.
put,
I like those a
yeah,
lot.
I love those too. And
Mhm.
you put the stuff in to ignite the fire and everything,
Yeah.
and it burns for a while, but then you start to see it starts to fizzle down
Mhm.
a little bit or whatever, and you want that fire to still be ablaze and bright and all of those things. You gotta add
Keep
more to
adding
that.
to it. Don't
Yeah,
take
you gotta keep,
away.
that's right. You
Add
gotta
to
keep
it.
adding to it, ladies. And
Ugh,
sometimes, you need God to just add more to you.
that's right.
You may have someone really special to you that may add their love of affection or
Yes.
love of support to you to help you get that fire back and keep you blazing
Mhm.
like you did before, better than before, to be
That's
honest with
right.
you. And so that's what we want to, continue to talk about this Saturday, and share with you some things as to how to stay ablaze, how to
Mhm.
stay ignited,
That's right.
how to be strong,
Mm.
and resilient, every single day for the rest of your life.
That's right.
Even when we do come across these challenges, and we're gonna
Mm.
come across new ones every season. We always gonna face
Every
some new
season.
stuff, and it will
And
always kind of like shrink us down a little bit,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
But we are
Absolutely.
gonna come back even better than the first time.
That's right. And I want to even talk to those of you who your flame is just so high. Like you ever been like in a campfire and the flame just goes so high and we may feel a little bit intimidated by that. Like our flame
Yeah.
just may be too bright and too hot and too, blazing for other
Intense.
people,
Yes.
right? It just
Yes.
is. And I want to tell everybody who's watching it's okay to brag. It's okay to talk about all your accomplishments and be talking about how much you've been blessed. It's not about money. It's about, you know what? I have to say I haven't worked in 4 years and I haven't have to work in 4 years. My sister was asking me the other day. She's like, "Letitia, what if you did go on an interview? What would happen?" I
Mhm.
know it wouldn't go
Mhm.
well because I'll be telling the person like, "Why should I work for you?" Like,
Right.
what do you, why should I work? I'll be interviewing the person who's interviewing me. Like, that's because when you have figured out a way to make money for yourself, your whole world changes, your whole reality changes. You'll never be the same woman anymore. But it's like, your fire, and we're going to talk about that too. When your fire is too bright, girl, your blaze is just too bright, honey. What to do when that happens? Because a lot of
Yeah.
times we make the biggest mistake as women, and I've done them myself, is where we'll dumb down what we're doing just to please everyone else. And
Yeah.
that's not good because you're
Yeah.
suffering internally when
Mhm.
you are in fact doing that, right? You
Mhm. Oh
absolutely
my
are.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
Hmm.
a lot of haters out there,
A
girls.
lot.
Just be accept that. You're
Hmm.
gonna have haters. You got them now. You're gonna always have them,
Hmm.
and especially when you are elevated to your next, goal of success or what have you, you're gonna have
Hmm.
people gonna say stuff like that. They're gonna be
They can't help it. They can't help it.
girl, you little, ooh, you too, girl, you
And the funny part is that there's people
little
out there that are going to hate on you even harder because you could be making mistakes and still be a fire blazer. They see all the
right.
mistakes you're making, all the times you fell flat on your face, all the cancellations that has happened with events and things like that, and they still don't understand why you're still
Mhm.
blazing through. They hate on your come up. They hate on the fact that you fall down and you
Mhm.
just keep getting right back up and keep moving.
Right.
Some people don't like that. They want you to fall down and just stay down. Girl, just stay down. Girl, just stay dead.
Just stay down. Just
Stay
stay
there,
down.
girl.
Mhm.
Don't go back up there again. That's crazy. It didn't work the first time, didn't work the second time, didn't work the third, fourth, fifth time. Well, girl, stay down.
Right.
But you just keep on getting up,
Keep
right?
on getting up. Keep
There's,
on getting
there are
up.
people out there that just can't understand that. A lot of
Right.
times they take the first time as a sign, oh, sign from God that I shouldn't do this because, nobody showed up or nobody paid or nobody, was interested. No, 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 no. No,
Mhm. Mhm.
resilience. I got it.
Mhm.
It's Tawanta's word. I kind of keep plugging that into you guys, right? So
Yeah.
we're excited about this week's conversation, right,
Excited
Tawanta?
too. Yes,
Very
I'm so
excited.
excited.
Yeah, and we hope that you ladies join us. And if you want to join us on panel, because we really want to have a large panel this week of those of you who really want to contribute to the conversation. So if you want to be on panel, just email us at sister-to-sister-connection@gmail.com. We would love to have you. I'll send you out all the information to run the show. It's super easy, super simple, no pressure.
No pressure.
Okay, because Tawacha and I are super fun. We're easygoing, and more importantly, we would love to have you here. And we feel that what you have to say will actually help impact and transform another individual's lives. All right, so we're gonna leave you guys with that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, remember, love on your sister. Bye,
Bye.
guys.